In this video, we're looking at percentage examples. So you can see that I've written 5 different examples down here. We need to find out what 20% of 100 is, what 30% of 100 is, what 40% of 200, 80% of 200, and 60% of 300. So we know that percentage is a fraction of an amount, so my answer should be less than each of my original numbers. So let's have a look at the first one, 20% of 100. I will write this up here. Now the first thing is, we need to actually understand what 20% of 100 means. So like in my examples in the previous video, I need to write that 20% means 20 for each 100, or 20 per 100. Now, how many hundreds do I have? You'd be right, I have 100. So let me get my picture up. Here it is. Now, it's pre-shaded, so you don't have to watch me shade it in. This is 100 square, 10 by 10, gives me 100 little blocks. So I've got 100 here, and I've got 20 for each 100. Since I've got 100, I'll show 100. And I've shaded in 20 parts for my 100. So 20% of 100 equals 20, which is clearly shown in my image. Let's have a look at the next example. We had 30% of 100. Now, what does that mean? Well, 30% means 30 for each 100. Now, I'll put a little asterisk there so it's easy to read. 30 for each 100. Now, let me get my diagram. I've got 100 small squares in my big square, so this is 100. And I've shaded in 30 of them because I know it's 30 for each 100, and I've got 100, so shaded in 30. So 20% of 100 equals 30. And we can clearly see that in my picture, 30 parts of, sorry guys, 30% of 100 equals 30. 30 parts out of my 100. Next example was 40% of 200. So 40% of 200. So what does that mean? Well, that means, well, we know what percent means, so it's 40 for each 100. Let me get my diagrams. Sorry guys. I've got 200s, and there are 40 shaded in of each. Now you can see that I reuse this. Each line is 10, 10, 20, 30, 40. 40 for each 100, and if there are 200s, you can see that it equals 80. Another way we can say that, we can use our multiplication, which is 2 times 40. So we've got 200s, that represents our 200s, 1, 2, and 40 for each, which equals 80. We could also go 4 tens times 2, which makes 8 tens. So 40% of 200 is 80. My next example. is 80% of 200. So what does percent mean? Well, 80% means 80 for each 100 or per 100. I've got 200s. So my first 100, that's 100. 200. And I've got 80 shaded in for each 100. So you can say that this equals 8 tens times 2, which gives me 16 tens, renamed as 160. 80 and 80 is 160. Final example shows 60% of 300. Oops. So 60% of 300. We need to know what 60% of 300 is. So what we need to do is understand what that means. So let's write it down. 60 for each 100. All right. So 100, 200, 300. And if it's 60 for each 100, I've got 60 shaded in here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. They are all the same. So what we need to do is use our multiplication. We have 6 tens or 60 shaded in times by 3 because there are 3 hundreds. That means 18 tens renamed 180. So 60% of 300 is 180.